and we're scheming how we can get George to be just kind of like an old man. And we got Ryan Couture in studio. JB, the intern's off to the side. And producer Danny is in today.
Hi.
Today's music theme is the 80s, right?
It is. It's Way Back Wednesday, so it's 80s.
Way Back Wednesday, 80s. Do you remember the 80s music? Did you like that? Were you a fan of it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you grow up on it, or just kind of like, that's cute?
I mean, I think probably a lot of the songs I know from like late night commercials for those compilation CDs they'd always try and sell you.
I always feel when I watch that, I want to hate it, but a lot of times I'm like, man, if I wasn't so lazy, I might just buy that.
Hey, there's a lot of good, catchy, like guilty pleasure type songs that came out of that era.
So I've asked a lot of Extreme Couture guys this question. I want to hear your answer. The iPod that you guys put in at the entrance, who's the one guy, if they were to put their iPod, everybody kind of goes, oh, man, not him.
It's a tough call. I mean, Coach Follis probably.
That's the one I keep getting.
Coming up in a minute.
He likes to rebel against the hip-hop that everybody plays all the time, so he'll put on old country or Frank Sinatra or just odd stuff that you wouldn't expect that totally changes the vibe in there and drives everybody nuts. What's that? Oh, shit. I don't know. I haven't even looked at the card.
Just putting you on the spot.
I think I like Stipe, Joanna. I'm excited for that Masvidal-Maya fight.
Coming up at 30.
That's a tough one to call, though. But I'll go with Masvidal. I like that guy. Frankie. Probably Cejudo.
JB.
Got to pull for Alvarez.
You know him or you like him?
Who's that?
All right, guys.
You know Alvarez?
Eddie.
Coming up at 10.
I don't know if I've ever even met him, but I've always been a fan of watching him fight. He's so gutsy and tough.
Stand by.
I'm a fan of Poirier.
I like Poirier too.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is gonna be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goes. This is what we do and why we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communications stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Go.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to MMAjunkie Radio, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, our ace co-host, back east, handling all the producing duties. It's Danny. Sitting to my right, our co-host for the first hour. Maybe we can keep him longer. I don't know. Eric Nixick, if you're listening, come on, give the guy a pass. It's been a while. This is Ryan D. Couture. What's up, Ryan?
Not too much. How you doing?
Good. I like that D in your Twitter handle.
I like it too.
Ryan D. Couture.
It wouldn't be there except someone already snagged.
Someone who's already Ryan Couture?
Yeah, I was late.
Who's
to
the other guy?
Don't know.
Yeah?
Met him.
Did you go through the process of like, come on, give it up. I'm Ryan Couture.
The guy with the Ryan Couture Gmail address occasionally gets weird stuff from my buddies when they have a typo. They leave the D out.
Ah, I see.
So
All right. Ryan is a Bellator welterweight, correct?
Just temporarily.
Just for this one fight.
Letting it welterweight so I could get that shot to
He
fight.
fights
the
at
Garden.
Bellator 180 at the Garden. He's right. It's on Saturday, June 24th, and he faces Haim Galati. Sorry, guys, you were going to say something?
Well, I wanted to see his answer to your question. Have you ever talked to the Twitter guy at all?
No, never have.
What if he sent you a message and just said, $100? You can be Ryan Couture.
I don't need it. He can keep it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What if he paid you $100?
To take it from him?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, so we're close then. I thought he was standing firm, like, I'm proud of the D, man.
Uh-huh.
But apparently, okay.
I don't care that
Free?
much. Free? Yeah, I'd take it.
What if he says, buy me Chipotle?
Nah.
No, also, you just don't want to pay. That's the bottom line.
That's a hassle. It's not that important. I don't really care either way.
Okay. Just curious. We ask dumb questions over here. You know, if you want X's and O's, go on another show. You're about to get a bunch of them. I hope you don't mind.
It's fine. That's half the.
Well, we did start off with some opinions, right? Can I publicly say who you're supporting, or is this more of a secret?
No, that's fine.
I asked Ryan because I got the latest odds here for UFC 211. It is a fight week here, and everything is starting to move. Miocic was minus 125 about a week ago. He's minus 145. Dos Santos minus 105 is now plus 125. And the reason I say this, a few of you out there have already expressed that you're on the JDS bandwagon. Well, maybe wait a little bit if this is going to trend that way. I don't know. But especially if you parlay, it starts to multiply. Plus 125 is nice. Look, for anybody that's starting out, first bet, first time listening, first time betting, if you put $100 on JDS and he wins, a week ago you would have got you would have had to lay 105 to win 100. Today, if you walk up and put 100, you get back 125. It makes a difference. If you're a baller, you would have to lay 1,050 to get back 1,000. Now, if you go up, you put 1,000, you get back 1,250. That's 250. So it makes a difference. The other ones are Joanna Jędrzejczyk still at minus 185. Actually, she was minus 170. She's back up to 180. I might need glasses. Is that a 6 or an 8?
That's a Q.
Shut up.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's a 6.
It's a 6? Okay, so she's pretty close. It was minus 170. Now it's minus 165. A little money came in on Andrade. Masvidal and Maia. Masvidal was minus 125. Now he's minus 130. Ooh. People are buying into this.
Yeah.
They probably heard the interview on Junkie about a week ago, and they're like, yeah, I'm feeling this Masvidal guy. Two more. Rodriguez and Edgar. Edgar minus 150 is where it started. He's down to minus 135. Money's coming in on Rodriguez.
Can I make a suggestion, though?
Sure.
George? There are certain cards that I like to tell people, just don't bet on it, man. Because it's such a great
Sit back
card
and enjoy?
that just sit back and enjoy. Really, because these fights are very close to call. And you don't want to be sitting there watching a fight hoping something happens a certain way. It'll ruin your night. You lost money. Why ruin a great night like that? Just sit back and watch.
But I think there's a lot of people out there that can't really get into it and enjoy it as much if there's not something riding on it, too.
That's true, too.
At those sort of borderline problem gamblers that need that.
Yeah. Especially the early card or the earlier fights.
Yep.
When you're not familiar. I'm telling you, if you're in that environment of a fight party, there's the old $5. All right, cool, quick handshake. But then there's other people that want to put just a little bit more. That's why I always guide people towards that little innocent $20 parlay. You get 5 rights, 5 fights right. Now you're cashing about a $500 ticket.
Your whole weekend.
You lose $20. I'm pretty sure everyone listening can afford to lose $20. It's when you start getting into, all right, give me 340 on Cejudo. Oh shit, Pettis upset him. Damn, I'm down 340. Well, how do I get that 340 back? Yair and Frankie. Well, that's a close fight. Masvidal, that's a close fight. All of a sudden, next thing you know, the bookie's calling and saying, we got to settle up. You're down 800. and that's where you can get in some trouble if you can't afford it. So please always be cognizant of that. Gambling's a vice, just like drugs, alcohol. There's people that spend. There's people that watch porn. There's a lot of stuff out there. So be very, very careful. Cejudo's up to minus 375. He started minus 340. And the last one is Poirier and Alvarez. It was a clear pick 'em, minus 115 on both sides. Poirier's now up to minus 120. Ryan D. Couture likes Miocic. Joanna, he stated. Who'd you say with Masvidal and Maia?
It's a tough fight to pick, but just going with who I'd like to see win, Masvidal.
Yeah. Rodriguez and Edgar, you said you're cheering for Edgar, but is he your pick?
I think Frankie wins that fight.
Well, that's all right. Okay, let's concentrate on that. That's kind of in that 45 to 55 to 70 range. You're only going to be a 70 guy for one fight, right?
Yep.
So break it down for us. I mean, you're a student of the game.
I just think Frankie's so good in transition, and he fights smart. He's so tough. Yair, from what I've seen, is still just kind of wild and a little reckless and just goes for broke all the time, doesn't really set things up. I think Frankie will find a way to exploit the openings that he leaves, and we'll mix it up between the striking and the wrestling, and you know, he might have to take it to decision to do it, but I think he's gonna control the fight and win it.
Of the two, where do you see him controlling the fight more? I'm seeing him more on the ground.
Yeah, I think he's got to get in and set up his takedowns. If you stay and play at range, Yair's dangerous. So he's going to have to be in and out and use that good mix-up that he's got to set up those easy takedowns that he gets and scores points and frustrate Rodriguez, and then that'll start to make him a little more hesitant, and then his striking can open up.
Do you guys find it amazing at all that a guy like Frankie Edgar, and I don't want to use the word disrespect because I don't think people disrespect him, but I'll use the word doubt. How many times in a fight that guy gets doubted because of his size maybe or because of his age, and all he does is just come out and
Man, he's a consistent winner.
How weird is that? But every fight, and I've done it. Yair, man, he's big. He's huge. He's going to beat him to the punch. He's younger. But it's Frankie Edgar. Like, as soon as he said that, and he just goes, Frankie Edgar, I was kind of like, man, you're right.
If you think about it, it's probably been a long time that you can get Frankie at minus 135 against the guy that has like 1/3 less the experience. Has never been in a big fight like this. I know he headlined it in Utah against Bruce Leroy, but Bruce Leroy's not the caliber of Frankie Edgar.
Yeah.
This is a pay-per-view. I don't know, man. Edgar, I love his footwork and his boxing and his head movement. I think he's very well coached. But the longer that fight's on the feet, the more trouble he can get into.
Yeah.
You know, the other guy's got great reach. He's very dynamic. You know, he throws knees, kicks. He can be on the ground, or he can, you know, do a switch kick in the air. I mean, he's very, very dynamic. Spinning, it doesn't matter. He can catch you for so many angles. But if you put him on the ground, think about all the arsenal that's just been taken away from the guy.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be boxing, but I think it's going to be waiting for him to open up and get this guy on the ground.
The only thing that scares me about that matchup is we're so used to seeing Frankie Edgar in 5 rounds, and sometimes he takes a while to get going, that I don't want him to start off slow against a guy like Yair and already be down a round against a guy like that. 3 rounds Frankie is different from 5 round Frankie. So I think he just needs to learn to get things going a little faster than he normally does.
For sure. So Hudo, I said, went up, and the last one, well, no, I did cover them all. I know what I wanted you to talk about Alvarez and Poirier. Yet again, 2 guys that reside in your division, the one you fight most of the time.
I like Eddie. I always cheer for him. Always, even before I started fighting, always liked watching him fight. And you know, it's a tough matchup. Poirier's dangerous for anybody, but I think Eddie guts it out, and it should be a good scrap, a good war, and I think Eddie comes out on top.
I'm really paying attention because the one thing I've noticed hanging around with the Extreme Couture guys is I think they are very good at picking fights. Whether it's just picking the winner or showing you a parlay of what they did, a lot of those guys do well. Now, I'm not going to name any names, but I'm sure, like, do you guys spend a lot of time just amongst all of you just talking about what's coming up that weekend and giving your thoughts? And
I don't, but I know some of the guys do, and the ones that tend to bet more definitely do. So we got a few guys in there that are skilled gamblers. I'm not one of them. I tend to just kind of pick the guy that I like and I want to win.
If they're so good at it, why not just go, who do you got? Let them do all the work.
There's the fun in that.
Cash in the check.
It's the stuff you do afterwards. Like last night. What did you do last night?
We had a couple friends over for dinner, and then all headed over to the Palms and caught Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, nice. Was it good?
Yeah, great show.
No, he meant the dinner.
The dinner was real good too.
Did you cook it, or who cooks in your family?
It was a little team effort. Me and my wife. She found the recipe and marinated the chicken, and then I did all the prep work because I got home from work.
Are you guys in the kitchen listening to some music, rocking back and forth, and all that?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep,
He didn't back away from it, huh? He's like, yeah. So what? What are you gonna say?
Would you ever go see Guardians of the Galaxy?
I don't know what that is. Is that the new Star Wars or something?
No, it's at the Pearl, the band, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
Can you play it, Danny?
Got it right here.
Is it really? It's a band? Sounds all right. Am I supposed to recognize this, though? Is this like a #1 hit right now, or what?
Yeah.
It's on the radio. don't know if that means anything.
Man, I listen to a lot of sports talk, and I listen to electronic music, so I don't really hear a lot of like the current trends, you know, like top 40 or whatever. It's
Well, they've
just
been
being
like
played.
#1 on TRL for at least a couple weeks, I think.
I don't watch TRL. Do they have another song?
Okay, I gotta stop you. So for one, Guardians of the Galaxy is a movie. TRL has been off the air for like at least 10 or 15
That's
years.
an MTV show, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't.
You
I
got-
did get caught in the Jersey Shore wave.
Yeah.
I confess. But other than that, I didn't really. I broke away from MTV years ago. Once in a while, if it was a good opening episode, like that one in Hawaii, man, that Ruthie bitch, she was crazy on the Real World.
No idea what you're
Yeah,
talking
she
about.
was crazy,
Yeah, she
and so that got me to watch
She
the next.
threw up in the tub and everything. Like they had to carry her out, right?
Right.
First
She got in a
episode.
fight, and then there was one in Vegas. One dude was just macking with every chick there, and the other guys were bitter. So it was kind of funny to see all that unfold. So two
Was that the one
seasons
that
got
they
me
shot downtown?
at the Palms. Yeah.
Oh, they did. Oh, it's older one at the Palms. They did
That's
one-
why they did that big suite, right? Or no?
Exactly.
Or was it a
Yeah, they call it the MTV suite, or no, they call it the Real World suite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Have you ever been in that?
No, I don't think so.
They got a basketball court. Well, you've been in it, right?
I did, yeah. Do you remember an agent named Ken Pavia?
Yeah.
Back in the day, I think there was probably a UFC because they went to the Palms a few times. Something happened, and all I know is I'm just exiting out of the fights, and he goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Probably gonna get something to eat or whatever." And he goes, "Follow me," and I go, "All right," and I noticed he was recruiting a few people, and then he goes, "Okay, follow me." He goes, "Just look straight and have a little bit of swag. We're being filmed, And then all of a sudden, this little camera crew comes out of nowhere, and I just go, "Well, what?" I didn't even have time to ask questions because he snapped, like, "Shut up," So I was like, "All right," So then we were just kind of walking in. Luckily, I had a drink because I don't know what to do with my hands, It's like the Bigfoot
Yeah,
walk,
It's weird when you don't have something in your hands. It's
and
awkward.
someone's filming you. Like when you filmed me for the 2000 show, and I just had to walk in.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, I see the video, and I'm like, strutting, like
like
I had,
Yogi Bear or
I had
something.
nothing going on, man. Exactly. So anyway, I had the drink, and so I'm just trying to like move my head, but like not enough that it's annoying. And he takes us up, and I could tell it was going to be something big because of the camera crew, and we went to one of those elevators where the security guy's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just show your key, and once you got in there, he had to privately take you to a certain suite. And we walk in, and his brother, I guess, has a lot of money, and somehow got that suite that day. Not somehow, we paid. And there was a few fighters there, and Ken had his stable of fighters, and so basically we just hey, grab something to eat, do whatever, just party. We need bodies, and so I did that. But as I'm doing that, I took my own little tour, and dude, it's awesome. It really is awesome. I'll give it up. Not the Real World suite, but the basketball suite. I think that's just what they call it.
Okay.
It's got an actual basketball, plenty of space, a bunch of basketballs down there. A few people were shooting. That was cool. And then it had one big room to host, and then it had a bunch of little rooms on top. So your master, but other rooms where a bunch of people could stay. Like you could honestly say, "Hey, 12 of us, let's go," and everybody would be pretty comfy. Maybe a few people on the couch, but everybody should have a bed. It was really legit.
I've always
That's
wanted to
cool.
go to the Caesar's Palace one. I heard that one's one
What,
of the best
where they
ones.
filmed
Yeah.
Voice Versus?
No, that's where they did The Hangover, I think. Or did they do it in that?
Oh, I don't know. But Andrew Simon was telling us that he rented it for one of the Voice Versus.
Oh, and then the Aria, I believe, has a really nice one. They did like a whole special on
The Aria.
The one at Red Rock, the one that we saw.
Connor's
the
always
Fighter,
bragging about that one.
That
'cause
one was nice too. That was
he's
on
done
there.
the fine living, and he's always saying that nothing tops that one.
Yeah. You ever been in like a really cool room?
Yeah, I think a few years ago the Fertittas put this is probably more than a few years ago if they were still on good terms, but the Fertittas put my dad up at one of the crazy penthouse suites at Red Rock, and
Oh, that might be that
I was
one.
blown away by how just the sheer size of it.
Did it have a pool table?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was he stayed in a couple different ones, but the one was like all white everything and super long. I feel like it was like a quarter of the top floor of the Red Rock.
I think that's it.
It was pretty crazy.
You mentioned that little thing, that happened with the Fertittas or Dana and your dad, but you actually got a call once from Dana. And remember how he laid out where you can fight, but your dad can't go. Anyway, past all that, do you feel like you're still cool with UFC people? Just because, we're here in Vegas, I'm sure people run into each other.
everybody that I actually dealt with face to face at the UFC was always super cool to me. Like,
Yeah.
they had a lot of good people working for them. I just didn't always agree with the way some of the higher ups made their decisions and how they conduct business. But is what it is, and you know what you're getting into when you start working with them. So overall, everybody there was fantastic to work with.
Have you enjoyed your ride in MMA these last few years? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's things about the industry that get frustrating, and it's a rough way to make a living. It's
What don't you like?
Getting beat up all the time kind of sucks, and whatever. But that's what I signed up for. So, but it's just a tough business. The paychecks can be long gaps in between, and there's just really no guarantee, no really feeling of like job security long term. But that's not really why you get into MMA. So you do it because you love to fight and you love to compete, and I've been lucky to get to do all the things I've gotten to do.
Matt Hughes says he just wants to punch somebody again and win again and just get that feeling of a W and getting his hand raised. So am I to think that unless one goes out on a win, most fighters have that same feeling? Like, you're not getting close to retiring, but you'll be fighting on June 24th in Madison Square Garden. How much of it is for the money? How much of it is because it's at the Garden? How much of it is because you just can't wait to get your hand raised yet again?
All of the above.
All of them.
I've been itching to get back in there. That really last year overall left a bad taste in my mouth. I had two tough losses that didn't sit well with me, and so I'm eager to get back in there and try and make those memories fade and get back on the winning track. And then as soon as I heard they were going to New York City, I've always wanted to go. I've never been, and then the opportunity to fight in Madison Square Garden, such a famous and historic venue, was huge. I was really hoping that would come together, and so far everything's lined up, and I'm just pumped and eager to get back in there. And then obviously a paycheck's always a good thing. So
the only way you could fight though was at welter. Is that what happened?
Yeah, that was the fight that was offered, and I knew those spots on that card were in high demand and were tough to come by. So getting offered anything at all was big, and when we looked at the matchup and the way that the styles work out between me and Heim, I think it made sense. I wouldn't have taken a fight at welterweight against just anybody, but I think that the way that the two of us fight and the styles that we bring to the cage, the size difference won't be a huge deal. So I'm really looking forward to it.
This must be a funner camp then, right? Because now it's just get better, make sure your cardio's on point, but at least the diet thing, you got 15 pounds to play with that you normally don't get.
Yeah, but it's also now I got to go in and train with welterweights every day, and that's a lot harder. So moving that extra weight around definitely makes a difference in the conditioning aspect of things. So it's hard work, and I'm sore and tired and beat up every week already, and we're only a couple weeks into camp. So.
Where is it the worst? When they hit you, when they grab you and throw you against the cage, when they're lying on top? Where is it where you go, oh my God, these 15 pounds suck?
When they get top position. That's
top
where
position?
You really feel it, yeah. Clinch and wrestling and striking, I just try and move more and avoid getting into, taking turns hitting each other kinds of exchanges. And I have to adjust tactically a little bit because obviously those heavier punches do more damage. You don't want to stand in front of them too much. But wrestling, and when I'm on top, I feel fine. But getting stuck underneath a big welterweight is a nightmare.
Are they a tad slower than the lightweights, though?
It depends on which one you're working with.
Yeah.
We got some really talented guys. I've had a lot of help, luckily, from Danny Davis so far this camp. He's the same height as Ghazali, so I've been trying to get as much work in with him as I can, and he's not slow at all.
Mm-hmm.
Danny doesn't have an ounce of fat on his body, right?
Incredible that he makes 170. I was telling Jason that the other day. I go, see him? He makes 170. And he's, what, 6'3", maybe? 6'2"?
I think he's listed as 6'2", but who knows how accurate that is.
It's amazing.
170!
Yeah. I don't know how he does it.
When you spar with him, it feels like he's about 9 feet tall.
I can imagine. Do you remember the moment that you decided to do mixed martial arts and it be an actual career? What was that decision process like? Like, where were you?
I mean, I went just like flip of a switch from, I got to try this. I think, I really like the training, and I'd love to just get in there and see what it's about once, to this is what I have to do the first time I got in the cage and fought. So, or I guess it was a ring back then. But as soon as my first fight ended and getting my hand raised, I was like, yep, this is what I want to do.
What are the nerves like that night as opposed to maybe like your last fight? Like, how different is it? Do you still get those goosebumps and all that?
It's similar.
Butterflies?
Yeah, it's similar. I now I can kind of plan ahead because I know what I'm going to feel like and what it's actually going to be, whereas it was just the great unknown the first time. But as far as the way I feel physically and the nerves that I get are pretty much the same.
Fighting in the garden, do you think there'll even be a little piece of you that maybe soaks it in a little bit more when you're walking in, just making sure as you're walking by posters, things like that you see, you go, fuck, I can't believe I'm here, that sort of thing?
I hope not. I think if I'm doing it right, I should be tunnel vision focused on the fight itself, and I can worry about soaking everything in, the week leading up and then right after when it's time to celebrate. I'm actually really excited to be way down on the bottom of the card or early in the prelims so that I can get it over with and then really enjoy the atmosphere and the rest of the event.
Do you remember the original Rocky movie?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Rocky gets there the night before and he just kind of walks around and looks at the poster and the ring and all that? Do you ever do any of that?
I think that'll probably be weigh-in day for me this time because, they always make you get there super early. Usually I'm so dehydrated I just sit in the corner and hate myself, but since I'm not going to have to cut so much weight, I should be able to really kind of walk around and take it in and enjoy it.
You win most of your fights via submission.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually lost 2 of his 3 via submission, but they were a while ago, and they were 2 pretty big names. One of them was
Jacare,
Carlos
right?
Newton, and the other one was Jacare Souza. The Souza loss was like in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't fought frequently. He fought once in 16, and then before that it was 2012.
Yeah, he fought.
And then he's fought as early as 1998. Anyway, my point is, so it's great to see that. Okay, the path that I take fights is one where he's struggled with. It was a long time ago, and it was to some pretty badass grapplers.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you read into all that? Do you think you have the skills to submit this guy?
You're not saying I'm not a badass grappler, are you?
I am saying you're a badass grappler.
No, I'm just.
But Jacare is like, that's an Abu Dhabi caliber.
Yeah, no, he's a black belt, I believe, under Renzo Gracie, so he's legit on the ground. I've watched. He had that long gap between fights, but I watched some of his grappling competition stuff. Even in between there, he's been active in grappling, and he's dangerous on the ground. He's got good submission game, and obviously saw my last fight. I'm not immune to that, so I gotta really be on my game and stay sharp. I think the key to this one is playing my other advantages. I think I'm a more rounded mixed martial artist, and if I can frustrate him standing and keep the fight where I want it, go to the ground on my terms when I decide we do, then that's the key to beating him. If I let him dictate and take me to the ground and on his terms and with the positioning that he wants, then it's going to be a rough night. But that's what we're focusing on is shutting that down and making sure that I'm dictating and controlling what's going on.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take your calls. 866-522-2846. Sorry, struggle there. 866-522-2846. I was scared I was giving away the VIP line. But it was nowhere close.
That's why I don't even try and memorize it, so that I never have to do that.
Is that it, Gus?
Yeah.
866-522-2846. Ryan Couture is here in studio with us. He'll fight on June 24th at Bellator 180. Just to avoid some confusion, the undercard is Bellator 180. The main card is Bellator NYC. You'll hear me say 2 different things along the way. For example, if we were to have we did have Michael Chandler last week. I said Bellator NYC. That's what they decided to do. It's Bellator NYC from main card up. It's Bellator 180 from main card on down. Or excuse me, right below the prelims, in other words. Haim Galati is his opponent. And again, they'll be mixing it up on the prelims. We'll keep talking about that when we come back. It's Ryan Couture here in studio with us, and you're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93.
they say. Your life will be a lot better. Here are Gorgeous and Goes.
This is Ryan Couture. He's fighting at Bellator 180 versus Haim Ghazali. Sorry, let's get it right. Ryan corrected us, so thank you, Ryan, for catching that. Follow him on Twitter or on Instagram at Ryan D. Couture. We were just kind of going over that right now. By the way, the fight's on June 24th, and you can see it on the prelims. Not to be confused with Bellator NYC. I don't know. That's all SEO stuff.
Bellator NYC is all the fancy pay-per-view people, and then Bellator 180 is all the stuff you can see for free on Spike or the internet.
There you have it. All right. Oh, let's take Hal from Chicago. He's been waiting, and then we'll explore a little bit with Ryan's social media. What's up, Hal? How you doing?
Hey, great, guys. Hey, I'm here at a seminar with one of the true legends in the sport. He actually wants to have a word with Ryan.
All right.
Pass him the phone. Hey, man, tell that guy one autograph per person. Porra. Let's get out of there with that, man. Hey, hello?
Hello.
Hey.
Is this Hanato Laranja?
Hey. This Royce Gracie.
Oh, Royce Gracie. Sorry. How you doing?
Man, just want to say hi to Ian. You know, UFC, I built that house. But then I went to Bellator to do some remodeling. And I'm very glad Ian joined us. He got great wrestling, good jiu-jitsu, and he got one of the best fathers in the game, just like me. May he rest in peace. But I want to know about Ian. I want to know what's something that your father told you that really helped you in the sport, and then I want to share mine. I want to hear from you, though.
Oh, I always have a hard time answering that one. But I think more than anything, just the example that he set of how to train and how to conduct yourself, and you know, just how he approached the sport. I've done my best to model my training and my approach after his, and
Expand a little on approach mentally, physically, with the media, with the fans, with your teammates.
Yeah, just how to treat people, how to interact with the media and the fans, and then the work ethic that he put in, and you know, I've gotten tons of different tips on how to structure training camp. He always kind of helps me line out my schedule at the beginning of camp once we get a fight set, and you know, so everything just from what to expect getting into this crazy profession to how to prepare and how to do it the best that I can and make the most out of the opportunity.
So back a few weeks ago when you started your camp, is there like it's detailed by the day of what you want to do, or by the week, exactly what you want to accomplish in the camp?
Print out a blank calendar and fill in which workouts are on which days, and obviously you have to fine tune depending on how your body feels and that, but it at least gives you a structure and something to work off of, so you kind of know what the target is.
How about you, Royce? What did Grandmaster Helios share with you?
Oh, man. You know, having a father like Ian, it comes very handy. But like my father always said, you got to be on your guard in this business. A lot of shady individuals. And like my father always said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, and I choke you out.
I love it. Good stuff. All right,
man. Good luck, Ian. Hey, Ian, I want to call you out, man. Next time we go to Dave and Bus, me and you, my friend, Golden Tee, I'm going to take you out.
All right, I'll have to start practicing.
All right, Royce, thanks for the call.
I think he's the wrong guy to call out in something like that. You're pretty good at those type of games, right? I heard you and Eric are like the beer pong champions, and
it depends on who you ask. If you ask Jimmy Jones or Dennis Davis, they'll no matter how it actually went, they say they're the house champs.
Have you guys gone at it though?
All the time, yeah.
Who wins?
It's like pretty much the only people we play, and it depends on who got too drunk too early. So
okay.
It's hit or miss.
You a big drinker?
Sometimes.
Yeah. What's your poison?
Usually beer, but.
Give me your top 3 beers.
Top 3 beers. Oh, that's tough. I tend to go for stouts and porters. I like the Left Hand Nitro Milk Stout's really good. Black Butte Porter was probably my first porter or dark beer that I got into, so that's always got a sentimental soft spot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't have a third one for you. I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, what about liquor? What do you
liquor? I actually, over the last couple of years, developed a taste for scotch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. You have like a cigar in your hand and your legs crossed and sniffing it? No?
Don't do cigars.
You don't get too snobby about it, right?
Nah.
It's just a drink in your hand and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
No crossword puzzle, nothing.
No, not quite there yet.
All right. By the way, I could share what your walk around weight is, right?
Sure.
It's gonna be an easy one. He has to weigh 170, and you said you weigh 178.
Yep.
So nice. That'll be.
I would imagine the next 6 weeks or whatever I got left of hard training, I'll probably trim down a little bit. So I won't be surprised if I show up fight week weighing 173.
Mm-hmm.
Then I gotta weigh 171. So should be easy money.
Mm-hmm. And will you try and bulk up just for one fight, or just try and use I guess keep the speed and.
Yeah, but I mean, I want to keep the speed. I'm still lifting, maintaining a pretty normal routine as far as that goes, just so that I maintain my strength, and not having to diet and cut back calories will help with that. But to try and completely overhaul my training regimen so that I'm lifting heavy and trying to bulk up would detract from all my sparring and my grappling rounds and everything else. It wouldn't make sense.
How many hours a week do you work at Extreme?
What am I working now? Probably between teaching and working, I would say about 30 hours a week.
What do you teach?
I teach 2 no-gi classes and 2 MMA classes.
Oh, wow. So you keep pretty busy.
Yeah.
Do you have to scale that back during a camp?
Yeah, I think probably in the next couple weeks I'll start taking some of my shifts off and either fitting an extra workout in or fitting some extra rest in, depending on what we need.
Who can you tell us a name, like a fighter, coach, where you can say, man, they teach a good class? Is there someone out there that's known for teaching a good class?
Dennis Davis is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Follis runs a lot of gi and no-gi classes and runs our team practices. He does a great job too. Those are 2 are probably the best that I've come in contact with.
I have one. I like when Gray Maynard teaches techniques. I think he's really good about doing it.
He does do a good job. He doesn't have like an official class on the schedule, but he'll help out with team practices and like with some of our drilling sessions. We get grouped together and Gray will run us through some drills, and he's got some awesome stuff and a little different approach. His wrestling background, the way he's adapted it into MMA is a little different and unique from other people I've seen, and he's got some really good points.
What about Tim Lane? I think it was cardio kickboxing or something. Does he still do that?
Yeah, he still teaches that a couple days a week for us. That class is a lot of fun. Yeah, Tim's a character, man.
He is a character.
He does
Crazy
a
energy.
great job.
Yeah.
Always has energy.
Yeah.
I don't know how he
And you
keeps
can
it
talk
up.
fights with him all day,
Yep.
He loves it.
He's off in Jamaica getting married.
Really?
Or got married, and now they're honeymooning.
Very cool. Okay, and then Misha Tate. So she retired late last year. When she was there and she was training, it seemed like there was always about 8 to 10 other young ladies.
Mm-hmm.
She was building a team. But now that she's retired and you see her there less, I'm also seeing less females. When she went away, did that kind of go away from the gym, or?
No, we've still got a good core of girls there that they're all working together and helping each other out. When Misha was in, it would always increase because she'd bring a couple training partners for her camp.
Yeah.
And obviously just the draw of having someone of her notoriety there would bring more women in. But we've got a good core of real tough girls that are there all the time, year round. So I don't feel like it's really dropped off.
Okay. So go back, goes. This is Ryan's Twitter. There was one I wanted to see. Oh, so how cool is that guy, Tom Segura?
Oh, he's great. I mean,
he's really funny.
That was a meet and greet after a show, so it's always kind of a quick, hey, nice to meet you. There's a whole line of people walking through, but.
So you're not like personal friends with him?
No.
Okay.
We just went to a show and got the old backstage pass afterwards. Yeah, big fan of his.
It's funny to hear him talk like football and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then keep going. Well, that was a funny one. Who did that? John Golison. Who's that?
No idea.
Oh, okay.
That
was pretty funny, man.
Someone
this
else
is
probably
Seagal. Wait. So Bill is dressed like
Clinton.
Seagal in the 80s. And Hitler's dressed like Seagal now. That was really, really good. And then, by the way, this is Rodney from San Antonio. He calls into the show. And he came to Vegas once, took a picture outside, and then told us, "Hey, I missed you guys, but
now he's moving out here.
But I stopped by, and that was pretty cool. That at least he proved to us he was here.
Yeah.
We have a lot of listeners that say we're going to stop by, and then they don't.
And they never do. Leave you hanging.
Yeah, they do. And then one more. I guess the one where Ryan is right about the fight. I was just wondering, you weigh in at 155, and then I asked you this because I want to know, well, what do you fight at fight night? You said about 175. So in essence, you're gonna you're basically gonna feel like at all times throughout this camp, kind of like how you would feel for that fight night. You just not gonna put your body through that wear and tear. How will that bring you more energy, or could it also be a detriment because it probably you have to ramp up the conditioning to also get to 155? So how do you balance that?
I don't think that the conditioning's that much different. I mean, if anything, just extra time walking on a treadmill or whatever to burn the extra calories, and then more stress about the diet to get to 55.
Right.
So I think the things that I'm leaving out for this camp because I'm not worried about the weight aren't gonna be a detriment to the kind of condition I'll be in. But it's nice not to have that hanging over me. I can really just focus on the fight and on tactics and on training and getting sharp.
You know, circling back, that's a good picture. Circling back about a year when Connor fought Nate, they fought at 170, and I remember his coach said, "You've seen him fight while he's eating salads to make 145. Wait till you get to see him now that he's been eating steaks."
Yep.
So again, not having to put your body through your internal organs, mentally, draining yourself, depleting yourself, dehydrating yourself just to make weight, coming back and being able to fight strong. But yet that was the one fight where he also didn't push his body to get to those limits. And that's why, he ate well and everything. But for the second Nate Diaz fight, he had to recognize that even though it was 170, he took a different approach. That's why I'm asking, is just to make sure, like, even though it's a luxury not to have to shave those 15 pounds off, how do you also maintain, pushing your body those limits that a good weight cut can do too?
I think still eating clean. I'm not eating cheeseburgers every night. So eating good food so you have good energy to work with, and then working with the right training partners and getting used to, the difference there. I think fighting at 170 for him versus what he was used to was the extra body weight he's having to move around in the cage. So getting used to that in the gym so that it's not a surprise on fight night. Those are the two big things that I can see.
Here's a post of you being interviewed by Frank Trigg. When a guy like Trigg, or say Campman, or Jay Huron, or even your dad, when he takes the mat, there's this special, aura in the gym. How do the young guys take advice from these guys?
I don't know. I think just kind of watching and learning, and you can sort of tell there's a little different. You just kind of see the body language and that little bit of almost deference that when one of those guys that's such an established vet walks on the mat, people listen to what they have to say and pay attention to what they're doing and hope to learn something.
When a new guy walks into the gym, an established guy, we'll take Francis Ngannou, right? When he walks in the gym, what's the decision process like? Because sometimes they make it sound like he's out there picking teams, but in reality, the team gets together and they pretty much figure out, hey, we do like this guy. He could be a part of the team, because you can't just walk in and say, I'm going to be an Extreme Couture guy. You guys probably have to decide whether or not he fits that mold. What are some of the things that you guys look at?
Just kind of getting them on the mat and seeing how they fit in with the workout and if it meshes well both ways, if it's the kind of training that he's looking for, and then if he's able to train the way that we do, and that it's not going to cause friction, then that's sort of what it boils down to. So between getting them on the mat and having them work out with the team and seeing how that goes, and then having some conversations and just making sure it's a compatible thing personality-wise, then we can kind of decide based from that.
I heard he was in there.
Yeah, he was there yesterday actually watching practice. He didn't get on the mat and work out at all.
Oh, so now this is his second time, right? Because I heard the first time he came in, you may have been one of the few that actually talked to him or saw him, right?
I just heard about it. It was
you heard about
Brent, our front desk guy, Brent walked him through and gave him a tour and talked to him a little bit. Brent was all excited. He's like one of the biggest UFC fans that I know, so he was like all fired up. It was kind of funny.
And so now he came back a second time. And were people there now? Were you guys practicing? Or?
Yeah, he came during practice and kind of watched the tail end.
So yesterday was Tuesday, small gloves, right? Okay, but he didn't get in there.
Nope. No,
all right.
He's just still kind of getting a feel for what his options are and looking around and getting to know the places.
Do you guys want him? Does it sound like that would be huge for the gym, or like how do you view that?
I mean, I think if we can, if it's a good fit, and if we can provide what he needs, and then obviously that's a great addition and kind of a feather in our cap to be able to train someone at that level and have him be a part of the team. But we're not trying to force it just to say we trained him if it's not going to be the right fit. So that's really what it boils down to, is if we've got the right access to the right training partners for him. I know the quality of our coaches is great and would be good for him, but if you don't have the right bodies for him to work with, then that doesn't really matter. So just kind of making sure everything lines up and fits and that we're able to provide a good training environment for him, then of course we'd love to have him.
Well, I've seen some big bodies there over the last few months. Roy, Heath, Blagoy, Ray, obviously, even Vinny from time to time. So, yeah, I think it'd be a nice fit. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we got to do this last break. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93, and we have Ryan Couture in the house. He'll be fighting Haim, I think is what it is, Haim Ghazali at Bellator 180, and that's coming up on June 24th. So Ryan's about 6 weeks away, probably getting into that meat and potatoes of his fight camp as he prepares to do battle on what probably will be Bellator's biggest card ever. All right, folks. Get in the queue at 866-522-2846. We want to take some calls. Got a question for Ryan, or if you want to start discussing UFC 211. Whatever's on your mind, let's talk. 866-522-2846. Stay close.
Right, left, right. BA, start. You told me that code would get rid of them. Yeah, well, they're still here. Okay, but now they know I tried to kill them. Hold on, Mom. Here are George and Goes.
The most influential rock band of all time is getting their own channel. SiriusXM proudly announces the Beatles channel. Hear the Fab Four 24/7 on the band's one and only official channel, SiriusXM, channel 18, that's 18. The Beatles channel launches exclusively on SiriusXM May 18th. For more information, visit SiriusXM.com/Beatles. Ryan Couture is in the house with us. We're going to take this quick call from Brian from Boston. Although, just as I say that, look what happened to my screen goes. The VX is down. Danny, punch him in, please. What's up, Brian? How you doing?
Good, boys. How are you?
Good, and you?
Good, thanks. Hey, I'd like to talk about the main event for 211, and my opening thought is, what is going to be the under-over on takedown attempts for that fight? Like maybe one?
The main
And
event
then,
for 211, meaning Stipe and JDS?
Yeah.
Okay.
That thing is going to be contested on the feet. I see very few takedown attempts unless someone gets stunned.
I think Stipe will go for a few.
Yeah, I think it would be to his advantage to at least establish that threat to open up his hands, even if he doesn't necessarily want the fight on the ground.
Yeah, who's the one guy that's had JDS's number? Kane. And how did he do it? With wrestling. I mean, he struck with him, but still, he also got taken out once because of JDS's big, I think it was a big right hand he caught him with, right here on the temple. It wasn't on,
right behind
it wasn't on the chin.
the
Yeah,
back
remember?
of the head, yeah,
Exactly. So Stipe, he wrestled collegiately. He has wrestling skills. I agree with Ryan. I agree with Goes. It's early on, establish your wrestling. So you're saying that over-under on takedowns for the whole fight or just the first round?
No, the first round will be 0. The over-under, I'm going with like 2. I think these boys are just going to slug it out on the feet. And secondly, I like both of these guys as humans, and I like both of their fighting styles. So I don't even know which one to root for or which one to root against, because either way, I'm going to be pleased with the wins. Because if JDS wins, I see some good rematches for him. And if Stipe wins, I'm not 100% sure who they would give, who's up next to him to fight Derek Lewis, even though I'm not really on that Derek Lewis train yet.
Right. All right. Thank you for the call. I do want to discuss this. We are going to take a break, and we're going to do a sports update, but I want you all to ponder this, including Ryan and Goes and Junkie Nation, 866-522-2846. Do you think the UFC, there's even a percentage of them, that sits back and watches Stipe and says, he's a little corny. Like, if this is supposed to be the baddest man on the planet, you want one of those guys that kind of kicks down the door and just has, like what Chuck Liddell had back in the day, the look, or your dad, Captain America, or Fedor. He was stoic. He was a killer. You know what I mean? Black Beast may have that just because he's so destructive, and then he's pounding his chest. JDS, I think he slashes the throat, and, what's that called when he just kind of like throws his hand down in frfront of the fighter?
I don't know what it's called, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Kane was more of a like Aztecan look, like he just had this killer look, but even he needs some. But there's something about Miocic, the part-time firefighter. Nothing against that, but he's just corny and he's hanging up on people. I still think the UFC's going, oh man. I mean, on the heels of Anthony Joshua winning in front of 90,000, saying he's the baddest man on the planet, I think the UFC really wants someone to make a statement on Saturday. We'll talk about that when we come back. 866-522-2846.
This is my walkout at Texas Game Show.
Do you come with a fork from your house? Just walk in with the fork?
Pretty much. What do you want?
All right, here we go. It is the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. We got Ryan Couture here in studio with us. Brent, Eric, whoever's covering. Sorry, we got him for another 15 minutes. Is it Brent? Who's doing it today?
It's Clint today.
Clint today. All right, Clint, Brent, same thing. White boy. I call them white boy names, you know. Yeah, he's going to be a few minutes late. He's sticking around. So what'd you think of what I said earlier? It's fight week. You saw what happened in boxing. These guys have a chance to kind of carry over a little bit of that heavyweight momentum, that baddest man on the planet type of talk, and make a statement. For Stipe, he would right or wrong. He lost to JDS in 2014, so that would feel good for him. It'd be another title defense. It'd be 2 for him. 1 more, and he'd break the record for most title defenses in the UFC. The win streak would just keep mounting up. For JDS, I mean, that'd be 2-time champion for him. And he has a lot of skins on his wall. I don't have to go through all those. He's beaten Fabricio Verdum. He's beaten Cain Velasquez. He's beaten Ben Rothwell. And now, if he obviously has the belt on, as of Saturday, he will have beaten Stipe Miocic. But what I asked was, do you think the UFC is hanging back and wishing one or the other, and more particularly, you think they're happy with Stipe as their champ? You know, he's really a nice guy, and there's something about, like, this sport, it's really edgy, and this sport answers all questions. You know, this is where we find out who the baddest man on the planet is. No disrespect to boxing. That told us who the baddest man in boxing was, but not the baddest man on the planet. Saturday will tell us that. What do you guys think? Am I reading too much into this?
I think they would probably agree with you in the sense that, yeah, they would like him to come out of his shell a little bit more. I don't think they're dishappy with him up there, though. He's a great role model. He's knocking people left and right, and that's probably the biggest thing that you have, right, is to be able to show that reel. Anytime you show a reel of people getting knocked out by one guy, it could be Mr. Rogers. You could have that personality. But if he's doing that, it's hard not to say that's the baddest man on the planet.
I'd pay extra to see Mr. Rogers do it.
That would be cool, wouldn't it? But there are 2 people on this card that I think are going to steal the show. Not just with their performance, but when they grab the mic. It's George Masvidal and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. 2 gangsters. Mm-hmm. They're going to do what we wish Stipe would do with the mic.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Both of them have no problem stepping up and letting you know what they think.
What about as far as Stipe? Like, do you think they would want more out of him? Are they okay letting him be the way he is?
I don't think you can force him to be something he's not. I think, obviously, as long as he keeps putting on fights that people want to see, the rest of it's going to not matter as much. They'd always like to have that person who's just a super easy sell who fans go crazy for, kind of that it factor that you hear people talk about, but not everybody has that and not everybody can. So what he's doing is what the most important thing is, which is getting in there and performing, putting on entertaining fights and finishing people. That's what they really want most.
Yeah. You know, about 2 years ago, John Jones went to Lima, Peru to watch an event there. Do you remember when Malky talked about it? He lost his luggage and everything. It was in Lima, Peru. And I happened to catch someone's video, it was a YouTube, of when he was presented at the event. It was just a small event, and they paid him an appearance fee. But as he's walking in, you could hear the video. The guy, I don't know if it's the guy holding it or people around him. Somebody goes, "Mira esa bestia," and then the other guy goes, "Qué tremendo," and what that meant was, "Look at this, look at this beast. Behold the beast." And then the other guy said, "Tremendous." Like, that guy's tremendous. You could just tell there was a wow factor, you know. Now John's 6'4". At the time, he was the champ. And he has a little bit of swag. He's also kind of like a goody two-shoes at time. But, you know, there's also the bad boy side. Well, no, he is. You know, I mean, he quotes the Bible and whatever. But then there's times where it comes out, you know. And that is something that I think is missing with Stipe. Like, I think if Stipe were to walk out, nobody would say, "Mira esa bestia, qué tremendo." You know what I mean? It's just, oh, that's the champ. It's like, oh, that's the champ. And I think there's something to being there's an aura that goes with that. I wish JDS rocks it a little bit, but I wish Stipe would rock it. Whoever wins, I hope they rock it. Come on, man. We fucking need you guys. You know what I mean? We need some new stars, and MMA could use this push. The timing's perfect.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, I see.
I feel like I'm putting my fists out.
Well, because
and like nobody's fist bumping me here.
He's right.
Like Ryan's just going,
he can't just make it up
and then Goes is going,
I mean,
so anyway, Masvidal's a gangster.
Because he can't.
They're leaving
make
me
it
hanging
up.
here.
And I just don't think he has it in him.
Anybody co-signing? Call in 866.
No, I agree with you. I think we need it. I just don't know if that's the guy to do it, because he's gone so long being the guy that he is that if that just flipped overnight, I think we would all start going, "Nah, guy's being fake" or something. It just doesn't. He even looks like a nice guy.
You know, I'm even to the point.
A mohawk or a beard or something.
I'm even to the point where I'll even take bullshit call-outs at this point, even if they don't mean it, even if they know it'll never happen, even if the winner just says, you know. I mean, there's some easy stuff out there like Dallas, Texas. Did you get what you came to see? Whatever. Everyone goes nuts, and then you start saying what you want next. Like in JDS's case, Alistair Overeem, I'm coming to get you. Everyone goes nuts, you know. I'm gonna go 3-0 this year. I'm the best. I'm the baddest ever. And Anthony Joshua, if you want some, let's do this. I'll come box you, even if that's bullshit. And he doesn't plan on doing it. Say it.
People do eat that up.
They eat it up, you know what I mean? And it builds something. And I think these guys need to help our sport out too, man, not just themselves. I'm not just concerned about the zeros on their champs. I'm concerned about, like, our sport too. Like, they can't all just hang on Conor. We're all sitting around going, like, well, what's he going to do? Like, what's next for Ferguson? What's Khabib going to do? Is Nate going to – it's all hanging on this one guy. There should be more of those guys, you know? And I that's why I push these guys, like, to do more.
I think about movies and movie trailers, and there's only a few movies that would get me to go out without even seeing the trailer or anything like that. But I think about how important that trailer is, and you see it and you go, shit, I can't miss that. I think that 2 minutes after a fight when the guy gets the mic, that's his movie trailer for the next fight. And that kind of gets you hyped up of whether or not you want to go out and see that next movie he's going to put on, right? So I do feel you. I just don't know if he's the guy that can pull that out of it. I think JDS could. JDS is a nice guy where I think he could flip the script and do something like that.
Even the most shy guy can say, you saw what I did last night? I'm the baddest man on the planet. No mistakes. Make no mistake. Anthony Joshua, I'll kick your ass too. That's not that hard to say.
Anybody could say it. It's whether or not we can buy it, right?
Yeah, whether you can actually start to hype something like that up to where you can get at least a few people saying, I think you could do it. I think you could win that boxing match.
I could go up to a hot chick at the Rhino and go, yo, baby, what's up? I could throw some swag. Is she going to believe it, though?
But at least you said it.
Yeah, but then I roll into a Ford Escape and she's laughing her ass off.
All right, one more call before we bounce Ryan. He wants to go. We're not bouncing him. He wants to go. He's got to go. Clint, someone man up over there and give us a call and say you can stay for another 15 minutes. Go ahead, guys.
Has anybody ever tried to break in or steal a car or anything at Extreme Couture? Has there ever been a guy that's been that ballsy?
I feel like there was a break-in once years ago. Actually, my window got broken or cracked, but I don't know if they were trying to break in or how that happened. But I think someone's car actually got broken into and robbed in the parking lot a few years ago.
Did Kia replace it or?
Kia? No. Kia's not doing anything for anybody.
What would happen if you caught a guy?
I imagine we'd drag them in the gym and whip their ass.
How would you do that? Really?
That'd be
you
so
would?
cool.
I don't know. We'd probably end up in more trouble than they would, but
if anybody
it might be
found out.
worth it.
Yeah. No one's ever done it, though, huh?
No, nobody's been caught red-handed
People
yet.
do stupid shit, man, out here.
I
Like, your
asked
dad's car's been. He told us on the show before that two
The
times
Hummer.
in the same parking lot, which
In
isn't
Southern
that far from
Highlands.
where we
in
live.
in the Smiths in Southern Highlands.
Man.
Yeah, his when he had his H2 that they gave him from the Ultimate Fighter Season 1, it got stolen twice out of that same parking lot. And they had to like reinforce the lock cylinders with steel plates so that if you tried to pop them out with a screwdriver, you'd end up hurting your hand. They were talking at one point about hiding Jay Huron and Mike Pyle in the trunk and leaving it there to see if somebody would come try. But yeah, it was crazy. It seems like such a nice area, but
If there's
still get
any
that
type
stuff
of
going on.
sticker, MMA, jiu-jitsu, you just move on to the next car, right?
I think
Why
so.
would you even do that?
Yeah. I asked Team Alpha Male this question. If somebody came in and did something, I forget what it was, during practice, something that, like, let's say they grabbed Faber's WEC belt, started running. I asked them who would be the guy that is most wanting to catch this guy and beat him up, and they said TJ Dillashaw. They go, that guy's intense. So he'd be like, what the fuck happened? And he'd run after the guy and get him and put a beating on him. Same thing, what Goes asked. Someone breaks into the car, you guys find out, you all run outside. Who's the most intense guy? Who's the last guy that thief would want to catch them?
probably Eric.
Eric?
Yeah, I wouldn't want angry Eric chasing me down.
I wouldn't want Jay Huron chasing.
We've heard
Yeah.
about Eric for sure, man. Eric Nixick. All right, who's next? Brad's kind of scary, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's so chill. And laid
Is he?
back. I don't know. You'd have to do something pretty egregious for him to really snap on you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Jay would be a rough one to have chasing you too, and he's fast. I've seen him chase people down.
Jay's fast?
Yeah.
Who else is fast?
Not me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Most everybody compared to me.
Can anyone catch a football over there at Extreme Couture?
Nixick used to do it.
Yeah. I got that scouting
for a
report,
real
but
team.
anybody else pretty fast or?
I mean, there's some athletes in there.
Yeah. Okay. Trying to get a little scouting report here. We got an Extreme Couture Junkie game coming up.
I've heard. When's that going down?
About 2
23rd.
weeks.
But we have
Okay.
practice today.
What time?
Hey, they've been trying to organize a little practice too.
Have
Keep
they?
hearing them talk about it. I don't know if it's happened yet.
Can you play,
6
or
p.m.
because you're in camp you can't play?
Yeah, I don't think I'm even allowed to because I'm in camp, and I'm not sure how much I'd want to. Anyway, I feel like I just embarrassed myself.
Well, we're good with that.
Have I ever asked you if you've ever had a good street fight story on the show?
No, I've never been in a street fight.
Okay, never at all. Anything close?
Yeah, a couple parties in college where I got a little too drunk and ran my mouth, and
Someone checked you?
and my buddies carried me out before I tried to get in a fight that I shouldn't have.
Ryan, I don't know this side of you, really.
Back before I
You
even
just
knew.
start. What were you saying?
Oh, I don't remember.
Who plays on the football team? Who wants some? It's like some
No, I think I was being an idiot and throwing beer around, and I soaked some dude with beer by accident. And
Why would you do that? You were just drunk?
So I was just drunk. And he started yelling at me, and I tried apologizing at first, and he just kept chewing me out, and so I just got mad that he wouldn't accept my apology and snapped. I was like, you know what, let's go outside, I'll whip your ass. And I didn't know how to fight back then. I hadn't trained at all. Like, I had some real rusty high school wrestling that maybe would have done some good, but
You went to a party.
Good yelling
You had a
match.
few. And then
Mhm.
at some point, you just said, I'm going to start throwing beer on people.
Mhm.
Wow. All right. How many beers does it take to get to that level?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a keg. It was bottomless beers. Keg. It was a kegger. So I don't remember at what point I lost my damn mind. But
All right. We got to bounce. Ryan has to get back, do some practicing, do some working. So thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure. Thanks
Tell
for
me
having
how it ends on June 24th versus Haim Ghazali.
with me doing this, I don't care how we get there. But I'm gonna control the fight, shut down his grappling, and hopefully pound on him pretty good.
Well, I bet second round Darce choke. Can you try for that one, please? I want to make some money on the fight.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
You'll try and give it a
I'll
shot?
see what I can do.
All right, since you left me hanging on the Miocic thing. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, that's Ryan Couture, folks. Follow him on Twitter at Ryan D. Couture. And we will certainly be talking more about that fight card as it comes around because it's going to be the biggest one in Bellator history. It's Bellator NYC, Bellator 180 all in one night. Lots of great fights. 3 title fights. They added, by the way, Phil Davis and Ryan Bader as King Mo dropped off. Phil Davis steps in. That one, the Chandler fight, is a title fight. The Lima fight's a title fight. Great card in addition to Mitrione and Fedor and of course the old grudge match between Chael Sonnen and Vanderlei Silva.
In a
All right, folks.
historic venue.
In a historic venue. We'll come back. We'll take some calls. I got some iTunes comments to read off and some other stuff to catch up on. Maybe throw a parlay your way. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM. Rush 93. Stay close.
You know that scene in Star Wars where Darth Vader tells Luke he's his father? What if I walked in right after with my voice and was like, I'm your Uncle Walter. Can I get a lift home? That'd be crazy, right? Anyway, here George and goes.
Once again, thank you to Ryan Couture for joining us here in that first hour and 15 minutes of the show. He really did have to get going, and he's mid-camp, so we don't want any problems. Plus, he also contributes over there at the front desk at Extreme Couture. And by the way, their general manager, Eric Nixick, told me the other day when I was there, let the junkies know that while they're here, pretty much I think this goes for any time. There's something that can be worked out, but especially during next week's gathering, some of you are going to get here early, and some of you are going to stay past it. If you come to Extreme Couture, just let them know that Eric Nixick, their manager, extended the welcome to come out and watch pro practice, or to tour the gift shop, or to just tour the gym and hang out and see it. I mean, it's got a lot of history in that gym. There's been some great fighters that have gone through that gym, won world titles, and they have a great team right now, and they're really, really super cool. Now, I'm adding this, and I think Goes will co-sign, just be respectful. Because if you are going to say, hey, we listen to Junkie Radio, we catch you there, they said we can come in. But, just be mindful that it is a professional sports atmosphere, and if people are training, ask to take a picture. Don't just whip out the camera and do video. And if you really want to, then hopefully if somebody's come out and greeted you, you can ask them, and if it's allowed, great. But don't just assume and do it, because those are those asshole moves that can get us, well, not in trouble per se, but it just doesn't look good. So again, just be mindful and respectful. Jason B, the intern, chilling with us. He's going to close down the show with us as we wrap things up here on a Wednesday. Tomorrow's co-host for the day, is it locked in? Can we say it?
Yeah.
Mike Dolce will join us in studio. So we'll be talking fights, his stable of fighters and other athletes that he works with, and any questions you may have on the nutrition and strength and conditioning side. He's always a go-to resource for us.
We'll also
on
be
Friday.
recapping The Ultimate Fighter.
The Ultimate Fighter.
Make sure you watch that.
Dolce was on it too. He
Yeah,
was
he
on that
was.
same season as JT Money Taylor.
Yep.
JT Money choked out Mike Dolce. I think it was season 7 or something along the way, and then he made it all the way to the finale. So I don't remember all of his fights, but that was one of them. They kept showing that over. and
I
over.
think that was the first one of the quarterfinal, and then in the semi, well, maybe it was the elimination round. The
That
first
was
round after you
Rampage
get into
and Forrest were the coaches.
Season 7. So I never liked Forrest how he wore those brown shirts. That was the ugliest color.
It was one of the worst ones that they brought up.
I mean, go with the classic red and blue.
Yeah. On Friday, we'll be joined by Access TV CEO, Access TV Fight CEO, Andrew Simon. He'll co-host the show with us there. So lots of co-hosts, which means, oh, man, can you catch Ryan?
Ooh,
see if you can catch him.
You got to sprint
Or
goes.
you want me to tell him?
I got him.
Just call him. Don't text him. Call him. And that way he can, you can run out and give him this. Or you can send the intern. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not. You can send the intern if you want.
Sure. I'll haul him down.
Let's see what happens. Let's
I got
listen.
nimble feet.
Have you left yet?
Wait, how fast can Goes run though? We need to.
One of these guys is gonna have to run, and they're gonna come back huffing and puffing.
It should be by whoever is the fastest, no matter
Well, that's
what.
GG right there.
There you go.
Dude,
George, you're running.
What do you say, guys? He's coming back. He's coming back? Well, why don't you greet him? Just maybe.
I can go if you guys want.
Oh, he's going to come back? Okay. I was going to say save him the walk. That's our bad. That means we only have one left. Or none left.
We have 0.
0 left. They got to get some more. So now they charge here at the MGM properties, and our contact gave us these little vouchers to give to people so that they don't have to pay. I don't think it's fair that these guests that have always come through and got free parking now have to pay. They're doing us a big solid, and I feel like that's what we contribute to the hotel as well. We have a lot of cool guests here, so that's just our side. Little background stuff happening there.
With Ryan, I like to play this game with him, so you do it this time. But if you hand it to him, kind of like nobody's supposed to know or something, like so if you just go, just kind of stick it, he'll play along. Ryan rarely calls you out for silly shit, they'll just go with whatever you do. So just kind of make it like real secretive and just kind of Tyrannosaurus Rex give it to him like that, and I promise you he'll kind of take it and he won't say anything.
All right, I'll try to. I'll try and remember. Hey, so Jason and I hung out here yesterday after the show, and you know what I like about Jason is he follows other sports as well, not just MMA. So that was cool that we could drift off and chat about other bullshit. And I don't know if it's I'm getting busier or lazier or what, but stuff's sneaking up on me, man, and it's pissing me off.
Like what?
You know, like
The draft?
a certain Game 7 or the draft lotto, certain things like that. So I asked Jason, I go, hey, what's happening tonight, for example? Is there anything tonight of note between hockey and NBA? A Game 1, yeah, that's big, but I'm wondering, like, is there a Game 7 or something we definitely need to tune into tonight?
Two Game 7s in hockey. You got the Pittsburgh Penguins, defending Stanley Cup champions.
Kevin Iolle's team.
Versus the Washington Capitals, who won last game. So they've been fighting back for a little while. Penguins were up 3-1, but here comes the Cap. So it's a Game 7, and you know what? Pittsburgh, when they were up 3-1, people were like, okay, those are the favorites. They're going back to the Eastern Conference Final. You know, gear up whoever's next. You're going to get wiped the floor with them. But
what's the other Game 7?
Game 7 is the Oilers, who...
That's Edmonton?
Yeah, Edmonton Oilers were, man, they blew some games this series. Like, I believe in Game 6, the Ducks scored 3 empty netter goals and sent it to overtime.
George, did
Incredible.
you not see the highlights of that?
No.
Oh.
Okay, there was, maybe 3 minutes left or some shit like that? They pulled their goalie. They were down 3-0. They scored 3 goals, took it to overtime, and then scored the last one in overtime.
Wait, who was up?
The Oilers were up
on the Ducks.
3-0.
So why would they pull their goalie?
Well, the Ducks pulled their goalie.
Oh,
That's
okay.
6 on 5, right?
Right.
And they scored 3 in a row.
No, but you said empty netter goals, so the empty goal would be the Duck goal.
Yeah.
Right. But the Ducks scored on the
Yes,
on
correct.
the occupied goal.
So the Ducks pulled their goalie to get 6 players.
And they got it?
Yeah, and they got
3 of them?
3.
So this is a Game 7?
So this is a Game 7
All
here.
right, you know.
Hold on. So then they go back to Edmonton and get their asses handed to them, dude. It was a
Edmonton
beatdown.
beat like 7-1 at one point. It was a beatdown.
And where are they at in all this?
It's Game 7 tonight.
No, I mean, like, are these the semifinals of the Western Conference? Or?
This is the semi-conference finals. So whoever wins this will go, in Pittsburgh and Washington's case, they will go to the Eastern Conference final to versus the Ottawa Senators, who beat the New York Rangers in MSG last night.
See, I always cheer for Morrow and all those Rangers. I don't really know much about them, but he loves it, and he's always after it, tweeting about it. So I'm like, all right, I'll cheer for your team. The Penguins, I have no affiliation to the Capitals, so I know Iolle's a big Penguin guy. The Ducks, I used to cheer for them, so I'll cheer for them. I'm going to see if I catch that. What time are the games? Do you know? Do you happen to know that?
The Pittsburgh-Washington one usually goes on about 4 o'clock here, 7 p.m. Eastern time.
And the other one will follow?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to try and watch that one.
And that one's in Anaheim.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, it's a big game, and whoever wins that goes on to versus the Nashville Predators, who are red hot right now. They've lost 1 game in 2 series.
Did you guys see Manu Ginobili?
The dunk?
No, not the dunk. James Harden was going up to try and tie the game.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he just palmed him. He gripped him, and blocked the shot.
It's like playground stuff, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So the Spurs are up on in that series. It wasn't overtime. I had the damn under, too. So that's going on. I know the Warriors swept.
Yeah.
And I think what's happening on the other side?
The Cavaliers swept the Canadian Raptors, so I was a little disappointed about that, but the writing was kind of on.
Man, I was looking through my closet, and Gally had given me a Raptors shirt.
There he comes.
And
Here he comes.
he had given me a Raptors shirt, and I wanted to wear it at least one time, kind of to show support, because I have no affiliation to the Cavs.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
See, he never gives any shit.
Yeah.
I think he's so used to just wacky shit that he doesn't call us on stuff anymore.
Yeah, probably.
But in basketball,
we just saved them $10-12. Sorry?
No, I was just going to continue with the sports update.
Yeah, what else you got?
Celtics and Wizards are playing. They're tied 2-2 right now in the series. The Wizards won the last 2.
Okay.
The Celtics went up 2-0, but Game 5 there. So, but yeah, those are the big ones happening in basketball. It's a good time.
And the Celtics have that Isaiah Thomas guy who lost his sister, right? So he's kind of been playing through some tough times or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's some good sports going on right now. We're in knee-deep in NHL.
And the Cavs already swept. So the Cavs are set. They're waiting for the winner of that series. The Warriors are waiting for the winner. Is it almost a formality, Warriors, Cavs, or does San Antonio have something to say about all this?
I don't think so. And now you got Kawhi Leonard. He's kind of banged up.
I heard. He didn't play in overtime.
No, and you got Tony Parker, who went out with his injury at the beginning of this series. So, man, it's rough. But, I don't know, I'm not the type of guy that wants to see Warriors Cavs for the third time. Let's mix it up. But, you know what? That's the thing with basketball, man. You can buy players, buy teams, big three. So, we live in that day and age.
Good stuff. All right, Ducks, I'm tuning in. Marco from Waco, what's going on, man?
Marco from Waco. Que pasa, vato? Shout out to Jason, the intern, man. Good sports update, dude. You need to brush up on your geography, though, man. Chile, the southwest part of South America, right next to Argentina.
He did get it right, though. He did get it right. He said South America, but then the when he started putting it next to Guatemala, then all of a sudden it unraveled a little bit.
He lost me there. It's all right. Hey,
I apologize, man.
No apologies needed, man. You're pretty cool. Hey, another update today. So something to Chris Berman, a legendary ESPN announcer, lost his wife of 33 years today on a car accident.
Wow.
It's all over the ESPN news.
Car accident? Is that what he said?
Yeah, Chris Berman died today.
How about Big Black? He died yesterday.
Yeah.
From Rob Diedrich's show. And I was surprised. Well, maybe I shouldn't be. He was a fan of MMA. But a lot of people I know through MMA were tweeting pictures that they had taken with him, and many of them said the same thing, that he was a fan. Even though he was a celeb, he was very cool, whether it was employees that had, facilitated a ticket or fighters that he had met. So that sucked. He was 45 years old, and they're speculating it might be a heart attack. He was a big dude. But, damn, that was something that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, don't say that. 45, that's my age. Hey, a little bit of a rant, dude. So you guys were talking about, Stipe having a little bit of personality or whatever.
Yeah.
The dude does have some. Remember when he called out for the title shot after he knocked out Arlovsky, and then when he knocked out Alistair Overeem, the OHIO moment in Cleveland, when he does it naturally, man, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And but you cannot force him, man. I mean, Randy Couture, he never called out anybody, and everybody loves him, and everybody knows who he is. Same with George St. Pierre, man. It has to be organic. It has to be that it factor. They can just keep knocking people out. When it comes to boxers, why we keep selling the boxers that we're going to go box them? If they want to be the baddest man on the planet, tell those mofos to get their asses on the cage. Let them stop being pussies. Why do you want to tie the legs and the freaking elbows and the wrestling out of our fighters, and those pussies can do the other thing with boxing? Tell them, get on the cage. James Toney got the cojones to actually do it. He took his ass whipping like a man. So when it comes to that, call them out and tell them to get their asses on the cage, not to be fucking pussies, fucking boxers. And last thing, tonight, I'm Radio, another MMA podcast. Listen to my picks at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're going to leave you guys. Catch you next time.
All right, Marco, we'll see you. Well, I do agree. It needs to be organic, but I still think it's something that can be worked on. And the reason I'm emphasizing it so much now, it's on the heels of that boxing match. If that boxing match hadn't happened and that talk hadn't, permeated our sport for the last couple of weeks, I probably wouldn't have even been thinking about it as much. I've kind of accepted JDS for what he is, Stipe for what he is, but it was a theme because JDS connected himself with Joshua, and like I said, Stipe is kind of on the cusp of greatness if he can tie that record and just kind of get on a run. But that embedded just jumped out at me.
You're not speaking to Anthony Joshua. You're speaking to the fans, to the boxing fans. That message isn't for Anthony Joshua. It's for everyone else to let them know who the baddest man on the planet is. It's not for Anthony Joshua.
Would you, if you put out embedded, would you let them, how much would you interfere with the editing?
A lot.
Me too. I'll be honest with you. If I was the president of the UFC, I know Dana's very hands-on with a lot of things, and I'm not sure if embedded he lets them go. I think embedded's awesome. I really do. But there's certain things I would do, and I would not let the UFC be corny. Maybe that makes him likable, but there's something about that one division where I think I'd only have him in positions where he's lighting up the pads or he just says something of note.
I think they let him be corny because I think the ultimate goal is you want to be able to relate to the fighter. And, well, we're corny, right? So we may look at that and go, I do shit like that all the time too, right? And then you just become a fan. But you're right, there are certain certain people that you just. Mike Tyson kind of ruined it all because he was the guy that.
There you go, Mike
just
Tyson.
had
That's
this
a name,
scowl about
man.
him where,
Yeah.
like, even if you knew he was in a good mood, your ball's still tucked into your body to go ask him for a picture or to even talk to him because you knew there's nobody in the world that you would least want to have to fight than that guy. Mike Tyson kind of made that into a mold.
Right. Fedor, he had some of that.
A little bit.
And Fedor didn't have to talk.
No.
He was stoic, but he got it done with his hands, his elbow, whatever he had available to him. There was he didn't have a walkout song that popped, like a pop culture type of like, you relate to it. It was basically, I think it was his priest singing, right? And
it had a name, I forget what it was called.
Yeah, so there wasn't really much to it, but it was pretty ballsy in itself. But his walkout, that was something too when that heavyweight was going to fight. And I think that's been missing for a while. I'm going to go back here. Oh, I think Brock had a little bit of it. I remember I was at Brock versus Kane. Kane walked out first, and he had the Mexican music, which was cool because in Southern California, there's a huge Mexican population, so the crowd erupted.
And he's got flag on his hand.
Right. Then Brock came out to Enter Sandman by Metallica, and again, there was like
shoved a cop.
There was another bit of a rush. Like you just felt like, all right, these are the big boys. They're gonna go at it, and actually, it was a really, really fun first round. Kane won, and so he took some of that, with him. Like, I just beat that big dude, and now I'm the guy or whatever. And I feel like a little bit of that has been lacking.
One thing I like when Stipe came out against his fight against Alistar in Cleveland, he played the song by MGK, who's from Cleveland, Till I Die, and that song's about Cleveland. I think that right there got the crowd into it. Like, yeah, that's our guy. Even more than it was.
I do like that about him, that he rocks Cleveland.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of his trademark. And he's a goofy guy, but I think it's, what is your cup of tea? Do you like the guy that's junior, like gets in there, but he's nice off? But Stipe's a little goofy, and I don't mind that. But when he walks out, he's got stone face, and after the fight, like Marco was saying, goes up to Dana after he knocked out Orlovsky, screaming in the cage. That's what I like. So I don't mind that he's goofy. To me, it's what he does in the cage and after, and to me, that works.
We're being the UFC right now? Is this the game that we're playing? Okay. First thing President Goes, I walk to him, I go, look, dog, I don't care what it is.
Miocic?
Yeah. You need a nickname. I'm going to walk back here in an hour. You better have a fucking nickname for me. That's the first thing I do. Probably piss my pants afterwards because I talk like that to the champ, but he needs a nickname.
He's nothing?
He's nothing. He's Stipe Miocic. He's a guy.
I'll tell you something. If Mark Hunt were to win 4 straight and win a world title, don't you think he'd have a little bit of that, what I'm talking about? Like an aura?
Yeah.
Just because of the one-punch power, couple tats that he has, and he talks a good game. He throws a cuss word from time to time, but I feel like we just have been missing a little bit of that. Even Kane, as badass as he was quiet, kind of like Fedor. So a little bit of that.
But as quiet as he was, if you're watching TV, he still pops up, right? He's hitting a heavy bag for Metro PCS. As corny as some of that was, he had a presence. Stipe doesn't really have too much of a presence unless the Cleveland Indians are on a run or something like that. I want to see him be in commercials. I don't think he's in commercials because I don't want to say he's not being pushed enough. I think maybe he doesn't want to embrace that. I don't know, because he still wants to be a fireman. That's a lot on his plate.
I may be pushing the limits here, but I've seen him take pictures with the Indians or the Cavs or a combo of them, and he's always in there, and it's like, hee, like that. That's his role. And when you see LeBron's kind of standing in the back like, what's up, man? I'm a G, I wish the role was reversed. Like, I want to see one Cav going, at the point, like as if to say, that's the best man on the planet. He's from Cleveland. I want them to kind of like, for him to have that a little bit of that reverence. And that's, I guess, what's missing with me with that guy. Nice guy again. Great knockouts. I pushed Stipe to be fighter of the year. He had an amazing year. But still, I think boxing made me happy, but also pissed me off. I want to push boxing back this weekend. That's what I want to do.
To be like a stone cold killer.
Yeah, I really liked Stipe.
Like
this guy's got me coming at Stipe.
Show up in a suit.
Well, so do I. I said I really like Stipe, but now not that boxing made it personal.
I didn't really have any problems with him.
I just think this is our chance to push back on boxing. Boxing's had some good events the last couple weekends. Say what you will, the fight was shitty, but it was an event.
Yeah, it was.
When I was there on Saturday, man, I'm telling you, those people that paid a lot of money for that, it was an event that you had to be at, and I think Dallas can pull off the same thing. I think the UFC, I'm glad Dana went because I think Hopefully he took a note or two, but he needs to bring a little bit of that to T-Mobile. He got it with Conor and Nate. I was at that fight, but he needs to have more of it because he has the luxury of 12 possible great KOs, submissions, announcements. There's a lot more to play with, whereas boxing is mostly riding on the main, maybe the co-main.
Okay, we're the UFC again. Would you ever want to see the national anthem? Would something like a little tweak like that before a main event
That doesn't bother me.
be something that just fires people up?
Yeah. It's happened before at the UFC. It just hasn't happened in years.
You didn't like it too much, though.
Yeah, but you're saying only the United States, what, before the main card?
No, whoever's fighting.
Oh, whoever's fighting.
Yeah.
So the main
If
event,
you're
you're
fighting
saying.
a Filipino, you're going to hear.
So before the main event.
Always the U.S. national anthem, of course, because that's where we're at. But if GSP's fighting, then we get the "Oh Canada." What's up with that? You guys get that?
What's up with our national
That is
anthem?
it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
In hockey, when they do it, everybody sings. I will give them that.
Yes, it's true. In Canada, actually,
You know it by
the
heart?
Edmonton Oilers, actually, when the Ducks played in Edmonton, and I guess the guy's mic broke or something went wrong with the speakers, and everybody
Is that
in the
what
crowd,
happened?
everybody in the crowd started singing United States national anthem, just because I don't know. That's what we do. Hockey fans are wild up in Canada.
Sing the national anthem. Let's hear a little bit of it.
I'm not gonna sing on camera, on microphone, camera, whatever it is.
Just sing the first part.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land. There you go.
That's
Two
not
lines.
bad. Okay. All right. 866-522-2846. Let's take another break. Danny, what did we do last time? 5 or 2?
We did 5 last time.
Cool. Let's do the quick 2-minute break. We'll come back. I got some iTunes comments to read because I'm starting to get backed up. It's MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. Don't forget, replays available on the SiriusXM app. Also at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Rush 93. And the following day at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on Rush 93. So many ways to catch the show if you've only caught a portion of it. It's a 2-hour show, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern, 10 to 12 a.m. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific. If you're in town in Vegas, come visit us. We're at the Mandalay Bay Hotel. We'll be right back.
I'm expressing with my full capabilities, and now I'm living in correctional facilities.
They are the stretch marks on the underbelly of the MMA community. But hey, stretch marks are the new tats. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, we're almost out of here. Got a few minutes left. I'm going to read some iTunes comments in just a bit, but Jason B is going to contribute in yet another way here. He already told us about the big games coming up outside of MMA. Look, we breathe MMA 24/7, but make no mistake, we follow other sports too, man. And if you don't, you're a geek. Seriously. I mean, it can't just be MMA. And I'll say that to a fighter, too. A lot of fighters come in here and go, I just follow MMA. And I'm like, that's it? Like, something had to get your competitive juices. Well, at least tell me, like, wrestling and boxing. Like, some of them are just MMA, and that's it.
Jeez, your trash talk is like Michael Chandler. Jeez.
Yeah. What does he say? Beat it, nerd.
Yeah.
All right. Jason B., tell me a little bit about the history of MMA. We're about 23 years completed, started the 24th if we use UFC 1 as the benchmark. So over time, a lot of we've accumulated a lot of history. Now, not every day will have an event of huge magnitude, but I think every day there's probably something that's happened in our sport, correct?
Yep, that is correct. Could be something huge, like a huge title fight that happened, or someone just made their debut. And in the UFC, 15 years ago today, on May 10th, 2002, a young man, 20 years old, Ruthless Robbie Lawler, made his UFC debut.
Oh, no shit?
Yeah, and he
was it against TK Gosa, or who was it?
Aaron Riley, and he defeated him by unanimous decision.
He didn't knock him out?
No.
Wow, okay.
Well, which is his trademark today. He's knocking everybody out.
Right.
But, man, only if we knew back
So
then.
that's when he debuted, 15 years ago to this date.
Yes. 20 years old. Young
Robbie
whippersnapper.
Lawler.
Only if we knew when we looked at that 20-year-old kid and be like, that's going to be one bad mother.
Well, I think a lot of us thought that, and then, like Ghost said, he went away, and he did Elite XC, he did Strike Force, he did Icon.
Pride.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he was all over the place, and then eventually circled back, dropped back down to 170, because when he left, he did 85, right?
Yep.
Dropped back and became world champ.
He left in October 2004, and he was gone for 9 years. And then he came back, and one of his biggest fights on December 6, 2014, when the second time he fought Johnny Hendricks, and he beat him for the welterweight title, man. And he defended it twice against Roy McDonald at UFC 189, and then Carlos Condit.
2 classics.
Yep.
Even
the fights.
Even the Hendricks fight was.
Both
of them were good.
Fight. Yeah, 3 fights in a row with just absolute wars.
Well, too, because remember the first time he lost to Hendricks, that wasn't a bad fight either.
Too. Yeah.
And Hendricks, he says he won it with one arm because he really didn't have much usage. So going into the second, a lot of people thought, well, if he did it with one arm, he's going to do it with another. Was there another event that day, or is that it?
That's
good enough for me. That's a good one.
So good day, man. Good fighter, great fighter. One of my personal favorites, and man, he's brought us some wars over the years. So, I mean, if you're not a fan of Robbie Lawler, what are you a fan of?
Right. And who provided this intel for us?
At MMA History, you can follow him on Twitter and Instagram, and good friend, and he sends it over and we read it out. So make sure, if you want to know any history from any day, at MMA History Today on Twitter and Instagram. So yeah, he's the man right there.
Very cool. Is that Abby directly, or a friend of Abby's?
Not even close.
Oh, I thought it was Abby and Shamatkar and that crew.
No, that's Shamatkar. Yeah. It's
well, that's close.
Well,
they're homies, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, I'm going to go backwards, Goes, and then eventually you're going to stop me because you have a better memory. So you'll tell me when we're caught up on iTunes reviews, right?
Orale.
So a lot of you there's many ways to catch the show. There's on, I mentioned before the break, SiriusXM has a wonderful app. Check that out, commercial-free, HD audio. You'll love it, and it gets uploaded very quickly after the show's over. Plus, we have our replays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and the next day at 7 a.m. Eastern. We're also available at SoundCloud.com/MMAjunkie Radio. We're available on Facebook and YouTube, and I'll give those out on another day. Right now, the focus is iTunes and Stitcher. Many people subscribe to the show that way, and they've done it for many years, even before we started our relationship with Sirius. And so that's the way they get it, because in Nepal and Australia and in certain parts of the country, they just don't have Sirius available to them. But on iTunes, you can leave us a review. 1 to 5 stars is how you can rate us. All I ask is that if we only got 1 or 2 stars, tell us what we're doing wrong, and what we can do to maybe earn those others, because those 5 stars mean a lot. They help with the algorithm and the placement as far as like what's hot and what's happening, because there's new podcasts dropping all the time. This one comes from Des Rue, May 3rd. It's titled Junkie Nation, and it's got 5 stars. So thank you to Des Rue. This is the most fan-friendly MMA show on the planet. Hosts George and Goes have so much knowledge on the sport that they have many connections in the game and have talked to many people. You feel like you're part of the family as soon as you start listening. I've been listening to these guys now for 5 years, and they're awesome and genuine people. Love the show, Des Rue. Has
Thank you,
Des Rue ever called in?
I don't think so.
In 5 years. Wow. Call in sometime, Des Rue, or if you're ever in Vegas, pay us a visit at the Mandalay Bay. This one comes from Rudy in Chicago. May 3rd, 2017. Update. Still the best MMA radio today. 5 stars. I have been unlooping cards and doing whatever I need to do to get my fix for the last 10 years. George and Goes have created a great show out of nothing through their hard work and perseverance, and callers like Hal and Kendra are always adding to the fun. Keep doing what you're doing. Again, that's from Rudy in Chicago, and it was 5 stars. Thank you, Rudy. Awesome, man.
Rudy.
The next one's from Uber Mize. Uber Mize, not Mike, Mize. March 27th, 2017. I used to listen to this show a long time ago, and I recently rediscovered it as my interest in MMA returned. To my delight, it's still the same. Keep up the good work. He titled that one, Still Great, 5 stars.
Thank you.
This next one comes from T. Hayes, 86. March 23rd, 2017. Great content, he says. 5 stars. Great MMA podcast on everything MMA. They cover all things MMA, not just the UFC. Awesome guests with great conversation. Perfect for listening while at work or driving. We still got time for a few more?
Yeah.
All right. These are all 5 stars. Thank you to everybody so far.
You
Uber
guys are
Mize,
awesome.
the Hayes 86, Rudy from Chicago, Des Rue.
He's
This
helped
one
the show
comes
grow.
from Mark from Fort Worth, Texas, March 23rd, 2017. It's titled MMA Junkie Radio, and it's got 5 stars. I've been a 5-year listener and really enjoy the show. There you go. He kept it short and sweet, but it meant a lot. Thank you, Mark from Fort Worth.
That was like him
Orda.
going like this, huh?
yeah, it was.
Orda Nation Sports, March 15th, 2017. Junkie Nation for life. 5 stars is how he titles it.
That's more.
MMA Junkie Radio is the best MMA show in existence, period. GG Goes and the rest of the Junkie Nation make you feel like a part of the crew from day one. Download, call in. Don't just be a fan, be a junkie. How about that?
I like that one.
Puts a message along with
You
it.
dropped the mic.
Yep. All right, we're on a roll here. We got a few more minutes. This one's titled MMA Junkie Addict. 5 stars by Get Your Loe On. Get Your Loe. It's something. Get Your Role On. I don't know what it is. It's GETYOROLAON. Well, all right.
Get your roll on?
Get your roll on. Get your roll on. Maybe that's what it is. It ain't get your roll on, but whatever.
Was it on 420 that he posted that?
It was on March 14, 2017. He says, cannot get enough of MMA Junkie. Great content and guests. I've listened to almost 2 years. Can call myself a junkie. Still haven't gotten the cojones to call in. Shout out to all the loyal callers that make the show that much better. In conclusion, after 2 years, I can finally understand Marco from Waco.
Hey, can I come to his defense really quick because I know we're running out of time?
Sure.
The name that gets thrown the most by junkies that come to see the show live, they always go, I love that guy Marco from Waco. It's the name I hear the most.
I've gotten that one too. I've gotten that one. I've gotten a couple
Hal
I
from
hate.
Chicago.
Marco from Waco. But way more I love Marco from Waco's.
It's a lot of Marco and Hal.
A lot of I can't understand Marco from Waco's. Yeah. All right, we're out of time. Thanks to Ryan Couture for stopping by, co-hosting the first hour. Thank you to the callers. Thank you to everybody that wrote us on iTunes. We have 497 reviews. Sure would be nice to get to 500 and then chase down another 500. These really help out the show a lot. It's some algorithm that iTunes has come up with, and I don't know. Yeah, what do you want? What do you want from me? I like them, and it's great feedback. It's great to know what part of the world you are writing in from. So if you can ever add that, that'd be great. I know Orta Sports is from Denver. Mark's obviously from Fort Worth. But the others, well, Rudy was from Chicago. I don't know where the others were from. All right, for Jason B. and Goes, I'm George. Let's not forget about Danny. He's the man, too. We're out of here. See you tomorrow. Be champions. Dolce in the house.
Because me, my very